rad tech. So we bring in working professors, we bring in people who are working in the field to give them as much information in the 20 hours that we have them, and then we give them a college tour. And the idea is whether they return to Hostos or to another college, they understand that there is a pathway to higher education, and with the more training and education, the more opportunity to earn more money in their salaries. The program currently has about 8 young people who have transitioned to college too, who are currently at Hostos, and we're really delighted with that. Part of what we do at Hostos, whether it's in that allied health introduction seminar or whether it's during the certification, is to ensure that everything we do is engaging them in it. So the variety of different techniques we use are not just the presentations, but we do a great deal of role playing, what is going to happen in the job when you are employed, working as a team so that when they leave us and go to the hospital, they're fully engaged. I also want to just acknowledge that Hostos is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, starting in April. We are a community college that was formed by the community, in the community, for the community. There's currently 7,500 students on the credit side of the college. I represent the non-credit side. Last academic year, there were 22,000 students that came through the continuing education division. I believe we're truly the community in Hostos Community College because we serve people as young as 6 years of age who participate in our Saturday College for Kicks program, and we recently had an 80-year-old who completed her high school equivalency. So we truly are a full-service division of the college. I was delighted to hear such great shout-outs from our partners this morning, from the New Jewish Home, from SBS, from DYCD. We can do anything for anyone. So if you have a training idea or opportunity, we welcome that. Also, as part of our 50th anniversary, we are going to be doing community service. So we're looking for activities for people to volunteer at the college, to go out in the community and give back to the community. So you're welcome to contact me with any of those ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. So I'm going to give some love to this side of the room. We have one more slide. So with that said, I think, between the fire alarms and all the fire that we have here, you can see the synergy, right, between the 3 partnerships. That is genuine. That is not made up. That is something that's created over time. And even before the program was developed, one of the great things about it is that we spent between 6 and 8 months just putting the foundation together before it was even launched. And those are things that, we have to be mindful of. So let me close this out with a little bit of data, and I do want to share with you all, if you don't know, working within the health institutions, sometimes there's a gap between when a participant graduates from the program and when they're placed. So that same process that Dana was talking about in reference to onboarding also applies to when the participants need to get the actual job. And the jobs that our participant gets are per diem. We have part-time and full-time. Where is New Jewish Home? Where are you? By the way, we have 3 young people that have worked with you guys part-time. If you didn't know, we should connect on that. But amazing. So just want to, what is it, 6 degrees of separation? We're all connected in this room. So let me start off with, again, this data is from cycle 1 through 7. In addition to that, we're in cycle 10 right now. So we haven't included the data for cycle 8 and cycle 9 that just graduated a couple weeks ago, because those young people are still in the employment pipeline and determining if they're going to start classes at Hostos and so forth. So we have 215 young people that have been enrolled. Right now, our completion rate is at around 72%. When you think about placement, as I mentioned before, our placement outcomes are threefold, right? So it's either you get a job, you go to college, or you get a credential. And with that said, we're at around a 78% placement rate. And keeping in mind, again, that Montefiore is absorbing some of those participants, but we also have graduates right now that are working with other health institutions. You can see here the average hourly rate. Peter talked a little bit about the credentials and so forth. And what I just want to share in closing right now is that I think Ms. Abigail mentioned earlier about the career pathways, right? What I appreciate most and what I'm so passionate about is that Career Network is one of 13 programs that I manage throughout the Bronx, but the data speaks for itself. This program we look at for best practices. We look at for effective strategies on community partnerships, as you can see here. But in addition to that, just plain old program development and quality assurance and monitoring and so forth. So this is a little bit about our program. And we will wrap it up with a nice thank you to all of you and Jobs First for having us here. Our contact information is here, and I'm going to sit back down so Mr. Fischer can take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique, and thanks to all the panelists. I am guessing that the room is full of questions and folks eager to hear from these wonderful folks sitting up here. I'm going to exercise a moderator's privilege and ask a couple questions first. So obviously, I think as Monique mentioned a moment ago, there's real synergy and a real shared perspective on the part of the parties here. We know that that doesn't happen overnight, and obviously any good relationship, especially a multifaceted partnership, is going to evolve. But I want to go back to the beginning, and I guess hear from each of you, Monique, Dana, and Peter. What were your motivations, your organization's motivations for kind of taking this leap of faith and getting involved in the first place?
So I think there's a tradition with Montefiore of having a lot of roots and relationships in the Bronx, and I know there was a deep relationship with Phipps Neighborhoods, and our respective CEOs had an opportunity to meet. We were presented with the opportunity that Montefiore had 1,200 job openings, and Phipps was talking about addressing a population that's often disenfranchised and sort of neglected in a lot of its employment and workforce training, and how we can best meet both of our organizations' needs. And I think the other thing is, on Montefiore's side, as I had mentioned earlier in the conversation, that we're really a community hospital. Even though we're large, that's where our roots are, that's where we continue to do a lot of our work. We have a robust relationship with a number of organizations and elected officials, and I think that's really important. And we talk about this term called cultural competence, and I'm not sure who would be more competent to serve the community but the community itself. So it's very obvious to me and to this organization that these young people are our future, they are our community, and this community is very receptive to the great work and the partnership that we have.
And I would be crazy not to want to partner with one of the largest employers in the Bronx and all the opportunities for all the people who come through our training programs. And when you think about the reputation of Phipps and all that they do as another great partner in the Bronx, it made perfect sense for Hostos to want to partner with both of them. I also believe that there's plenty of opportunities for choice for Phipps to who they want to partner with. And so it was an honor that they came to Hostos to partner and to provide the introduction, to provide the certification trainings, and to provide a pathway into college, because I want to be the go-to training provider for many of you in the room. And so it was a great, great opportunity. What keeps me going in this partnership, because we're now in our 2.5 year through it, is not just the success that we have, but the continual improvement of the program as we go along. What Monique didn't mention is there's a pretty intensive, extensive evaluation process of it at the end of each cycle. And Monique hands over to me about 4 pages just for Hostos on the feedback from the students from that cohort. And then how do we make adjustments to the program in real time so that the next cohort coming in benefits from the challenges and the successes that we had in the program before.
And just to add a little bit to that, so as I mentioned in our mission statement earlier, Phipps Neighborhood serves the children, the youth, and the adults. And we honestly feel as though this population right here of young people 18 to 26 is where the grooming comes in, because they are the future. And I think for me, my passion, my absolute passion, is living proof right here, right, of graduates and young people that are in this room right now that have made that decision that this is a career pathway that they want for themselves. And Janet maybe can share a little bit about as to why she came to Phipps and Career Network and so forth.
Well, first off and foremost, I must say I am truly honored to be sitting up here with all of you. I would like to call these three the dynamic trio.
Love it.
They are on fire.
Literally.
So one of the reasons I did make the choice of enrolling in Phipps was because I always felt there was much more. And as a young adult, we don't really get these opportunities. You know, everyone is very quick to shut the door on us and have this perception on the youth. And in our reality, and I sit in the classroom with my classmates, and there's so much talent, there's so much going on. And if they have the right mentoring and, you know, the right push in the right direction, I think they're just so capable of reaching so far into their careers. It's really amazing. I'm honored.
Jan, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to just ask you to speak a little more about how you became connected to the program and sort of how it helped you get where you are, and I think beyond that, where you would like to go on your own career path.
Of course. So before I joined the program, I actually worked as a teller at a check cashing place. I had a neighbor that reached over to me and she explained to me how her nephew recently graduated from the Career Network Healthcare Program, and he's actually employed now with Montefiore. And, you know, I said, I'm never one to knock an opportunity down. I go right for it, whatever it is, you know, it's reach for the stars every time you can. And, you know, and when I came in and I met with the outreach specialist, Tehran, and just the welcoming, you could really feel the aura in the room, how they really care about the work that they do, and their passion is shown throughout their work. So that definitely made me excited about joining the program. I am looking to, I want to share with you all that I will be interviewing next week with one of the partners of the organization, so I'm like very excited. And I'm a little buzzed with the community work. I'm definitely very excited about sitting up here with everyone, and as long as it's for a good cause, I've had a great time working with South Bronx Rising Together and Jobs First, and it's wonderful, really.
Thank you. I'd like to throw it open to the room now. Folks, if you could just, I don't know, is there a microphone going around, or are we just, I guess we're close enough that if folks could just stand up, project, introduce yourselves, and ask your question. Anyone? Lou.
The troublemaker in the back of it.
That's where they congregate.
It shows that tell me, for the employers here, that can and should make formal, intentional, strategic partnerships. Tell me about the sauce. Less about what transacted and why transacting your relationship mattered. Tell me about what makes it work a little bit. Tell me about the relationship among you that's making this happen the way it is.
So I think as Monique had talked before, it's it's an organic relationship. I was brought into the process a little bit sort of before we were going to launch, but the reality is I think we really like each other as people. I think they're some of the smartest, brightest people I've met. I've learned a tremendous amount from our partners. And I think that we talk all the time. I think sometimes people have these partnerships, they sign agreements, and they never see each other until like graduation. If I tell you that I talk to the staff almost every day, multiple times a day, and this idea of feedback that Peter alluded to is that we're constantly asking the students or asking each other. We evaluate constantly. So I think just having an open mind and realizing that I think partnerships are challenging. It doesn't mean that we always agree on things, but that you have to keep, people say, yeah, communication, but it's real. I have their cell phones on my private and my work cell, and we're actually friends, in case anybody wants to know. But I think that's one of the, and I think because we're guided by the mission, which is very similar. I think people come in, I have my agenda, Peter might have his agenda, Monique, but at the core, it's all the same. And we're here for our community and for our young people.
And then to add to that, just in reference to the communication aspect, so it needs to be clear, it needs to be consistent, And we need to be transparent that when there's stuff that is going down that we don't like, or it doesn't feel right, or feels uncomfortable, or it's awkward, and we have hiccups, that I'm able to call Dana, or Dana's able to call me, because it happens, and say, hey, by the way, there's this situation. What can we do to address that? And then the other aspect of that Dana was talking about is that there's also the informal conversations, right? But then we also have formal conversations where we have weekly phone calls. We have quarterly meetings. We're talking to each other. We rotate graduation site. This is actually one of the locations for the graduation ceremony. But we rotate. So like last cycle was at Hostos. The next one's going to be at Monte. And then we're going to continue to switch it up, right? Because we got to share the love in that aspect. And it has to be a shared ownership process. It can't be that Phipps is the lead and they're the backup. No, we're doing this all together, which again, right, when you have 3 different entities, it's not easy all the time, but I think that if you have those systems and routines, that culture in place, it goes from top down, bottom up, and it doesn't matter because everyone feels comfortable sharing that information.
And I think for Hostos and for all of us, it's really data driven. And when you look at the results that of 154 young people that completed, 114 are employed. I mean, that's a great success rate. And that was our goal going into it. Stay focused that these need to be employed at the end. You need to do your job in getting them prepared, and we don't count success until they're in a job. And that we work so well as a team. One of my favorite parts is the graduation and hearing Monique get up. That inspires me every time, that despite all the issues or problems that go on in working with this population and what it takes to get them to that employment, you just feel great at the end of it. And where can we say that we work 9 to 5 or many more hours than that, and you can say you make a difference in someone's life, and that's what we truly do, and that's what makes it meaningful for me.
And I think if it's okay to just sort of close for our employers in the room, is that you drive this. I think one of the most important things about Phipps is they let us talk. We tell them what's going on. We give them real-time data. Healthcare is constantly changing, and as you all are aware of, this new administration that we have in the White House, it'll be interesting to see what'll be next, but this is a conversation that we constantly have. And I know that, there's funding and there's certain issues. It doesn't need to rush. It goes on the time of the business and the needs, and don't be afraid to step up and drive it. And I think that's what's great. Sometimes we switch, but I think they're so respectful in terms of what the employer needs. So for our business community in this room, please be aware that you are in a very powerful situation.
Other questions? Marjorie.
It's very doctors and we kind of eat and sleep and breathe for your engagement. I have a question. So most of the employees that are here today that we invited from the Bronx are small employers. You